flying Finebaum. Paul Finebaum joins us from the airport to give us 2 takes before takeoff.
But they act like they're on a heater here. REM, it's the end of the world as we know it if the Tide does not win. They don't really have any room for error. The loser of this game is in trouble.
Is Paul Finebaum really in the airport?
This is an airport, let me assure you. And it's really irritating everybody.
Some takes before takeoff from Paul Finebaum. Paul, of course, headed to the SEC championship game, and so let's get your takes. And we'll start in the last place in the world we were expecting. But as we were discussing, we start with Bill Belichick. Could you see him coaching in college next year?
Greeny, I could. At Chapel Hill is a very unique situation. The expectations aren't the same as Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. They have a great infrastructure. And if they're patient, I think he could turn that place around. Mac Brown almost got over the hump. He just couldn't quite. Bill Belichick could easily do that.
You know, I would have to ask you just quickly as a follow-up on the big SEC programs. I mean, people will associate Bill with Nick Saban automatically, the LSU situation. Could you see him at one of the big programs in your conference?
I could, because right now, Greeny, as you know, and you've got a former GM sitting there, college football is very much like the NFL. You have a general manager. He manages all the player personnel, the salaries, the NIL. So Bill could be the coach. He could also, make sure the infrastructure is set. But I think it would be a home run hire for North Carolina or anyone, frankly, in this part of the country.
Okay, let's see what winds up happening there. Now let's get to the weekend. Let's live in a world where Clemson beats SMU and it's a close game. At that point, the committee is going to have a decision between 2-loss SMU and 3-loss Alabama. Who gets in?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Alabama. And even though a lot of people are arguing that these conference games should not be punitive, the fact is that Alabama has such a better resume, Greeny, than SMU, especially if it's a close game, it's a closer call. If it's a blowout, it's really not an issue. SMU hasn't beaten anyone. That's their problem. We saw the other night from Ward Manuel. Alabama is 3-1 against top 25 teams, and that, I think, ultimately will be the difference.
And super quickly, because I know you have to board there, I can hear them calling your name right now. I was thinking about this. If Georgia loses, then Georgia is a 3-loss SEC team, just like Alabama is. They played each other and Bama won. Why is all the conversation Bama getting left out instead of Georgia?
It's a fair question, but overall, Georgia has good wins. Obviously, Texas, they have other wins that matter. They're very narrow, but I think that's where this thing becomes a complete a very difficult thing to understand because of what I just said a minute ago. I think this committee is walking on a slippery slope if they decide SMU can't go by losing in a conference game, even though they don't have a very good schedule, while Georgia can go. But ultimately, I think Georgia prevails there. I know people around the world think everything is steered and directed toward the SEC. It may seem like that Sunday. I think that's how it's going to end up.
All right, Paul, I'm concerned they're going to give away your first-class seat, so get over there, travel safely.